In the heart of London, under the shadow of the mighty tower, two young boys vanished without a trace. They were princes heirs to the throne of England. Their disappearance in 1483 remains one of the darkest mysteries of royal history. Did their uncle, Richard III, murder them? Or did they escape into obscurity? The year is 1483. England has been torn apart by decades of war between the houses of York and Lancaster. On the throne sits Edward IV, a warrior king. He has two sons, Edward, Prince of Wales, only 12, and his brother Richard, just 9. Then tragedy strikes. Edward IV dies suddenly, leaving the crown to his young heir. Too young to rule, the boy is placed under the care of his uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester. History would remember him as Richard III. At first, nothing seems unusual. It was tradition for a new king to stay in the Tower of London before coronation. So Edward V is brought there joined by his little brother. But the coronation never comes. Instead, whispers spread. Richard claims the princes are illegitimate, their father's marriage invalid. If true, their right to rule is gone. And Richard himself seizes the throne, declaring himself king. The two boys remain locked away in the tower. At first, they are seen playing in the gardens, standing at windows. Then, suddenly, they vanish. No more sightings. No explanations. The fortress becomes their prison and perhaps their grave. Rumors swirl. Were they strangled as they slept? Smothered with pillows? No bodies were ever shown. Only silence. And suspicion. Most blame Richard III. Removing the princes removed the greatest threat to his crown. Shakespeare would later paint him as a ruthless villain, haunted by guilt. But others had motives too. The Duke of Buckingham, once Richard's ally, may have turned against him. And Henry Tudor, future Henry VII, who would defeat Richard and begin the Tudor dynasty, also benefited from their disappearance. Centuries later, in 1674, workmen at the tower discovered a wooden chest beneath a staircase. Inside were the bones of two children. Were these the lost princes? The remains were buried in Westminster Abbey, but no proof has ever been found. To this day, testing has been refused. Over 500 years later, the fate of Edward V and his brother Richard remains unsolved. Victims of ambition, or survivors lost to history, the Tower of London still stands, silent and brooding, its shadows hiding the truth. And within its walls, the voices of two lost princes still echo through time. This is the story of power, betrayal, and innocence lost. The Princes in the Tower, England's enduring mystery. If you love the untold story of history, subscribe, like, and comments for more stories.